Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. Today, I have a very special guest with me today. She is the owner of Bubblegum Claws, and she is a nail artist. Please welcome Lydia. Hello, Lydia, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, you're most welcome. So, I want to go ahead and ask, where are you originally from, and how'd you get started in the nail industry?
Yeah, so I've lived in Austin since 2011, but I'm from Illinois. I'm from the
Mhm.
capital. Not a lot of people have heard of it. It's called Springfield. And it kind of got me my start. So back in 2001 was the first time I ever drew on my nails. I was like 7. My mom's a cosmetologist, and she would buy me tons of like discount colors from beauty supply stores. So I grew up in beauty supply stores, and I always had like a really good time when I was younger in them. They like the Springfield has so many beauty supply stores that aren't like your name brand ones like that you would see like across the country. And they would always like
Mhm.
give me candy and stuff. And like I just loved looking at all the stuff, particularly the gel polish or the regular polish. I remember in 2001, my mom showed me you could make like she made a little a snowman with like a toothpick
Mhm.
on my nail, and I
Right.
like clicked in my head like I could just start doing designs. I never did anything like crazy. I would just grab so like I never had like a lot of colors because they were like the colors that no one wanted from the discount
Right.
bin. So I just like swirl them around and make designs. But I moved to Texas in 2011. I went to college. I went to St. Ed's and I graduated, and I have a psych degree, and you can't do anything with a psych degree really other than like being a babysitter. And
Mhm.
I went to grad school, and I moved back to Illinois.
Mhm.
And my like one of our family members basically offered us a house. It fell through, and I moved back to my hometown. I finished my first semester of counseling grad school, and it was like the worst. I love school. It was like the worst experience of my life. I was like, I can't keep doing
Wow.
this. And I was like, just like, what do I need to do though? And I was like, well, this is a 3-month nail program. I could at least try it out. And
Right.
I went to the same school my mom went to, so they knew me before I was even like walking in, which was weird because my mom was friends with the director of the school. I've never really had an experience like that. And like within the first week of school, I didn't even know I could do art at that point. I always did music in school.
Mhm.
It was the first time I had access to any nail color I could ever want. I had an OPI brush that was like similar to this one with a really fine tip that I've been using for my eyeliner. And I was like, I'll bring this in and try to do some nail art. And without really trying hard, I like did some Rick and Morty nail art, and my teacher posted it. It blew up around the school. I still didn't realize I could draw. Like I was still like, oh, this isn't a thing. And
Right.
the next day, the next time we had like a session, a cosmetologist student came in, and like I went to go clean my brushes or something or my implements, and I like came back in, and I was like, hey guys, where is my brush? And she was like she had taken it and was like smashing it down trying to draw with it, and I was like, that's when it clicked in my head that it wasn't the brush that was drawing, it was me that was drawing. I had to see someone else using the same tool as me, and like it just kind of
Mhm.
never stopped, and I've just been drawing characters and making characters since then. It's like my favorite thing about nails is drawing like characters on them.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that's really, really cool. Like, I love like getting to know, getting into nail art. I've been into nail since I was like 14. So the thing is that, like, once you pick up that brush and you just start drawing, doing different designs, you just your mind just goes.
Yeah, I mean, like, when I'm a streamer, that's mainly, like, my full-time job. I have clients and stuff too, and obviously I have my brand, but everyone's always like, "Hey, I don't have an idea," and I'm like, "You guys, I don't have enough time in the day. I could just keep drawing all the time." Like, I have so many nail designs always that I'm like, "Okay, I can do this next, this next, this next." Like, yeah. It's just my passion. I love it so much.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, right. Most definitely. Now, who would you consider to be like your favorite like nail artist that you looked up to?
Okay, yeah. So I've been lucky enough to work with all the nail artists that I really look up to. So Fancy Fingers 3D Nail Art on Instagram, on TikTok, it's just Fancy Fingers. She is actually the reason I got into Kawaii nail art. I'd never seen Kawaii nail art before until I got on saw her page and saw the
Mhm.
little intricate design she was making, like charms. And then she's in Houston and I'm in Austin, the Austin area. So like I had the opportunity that we were working the same event one time, and like I
Right.
see her designs in real life, and then, like, it just clicked, like, I can do that too. I really love Tengoku Nails. She does a lot of, breathtaking freehand nail art. Also got to work with her with my brand. She does like, I love her style so much. I feel like when I draw characters, I try to make, like, an exact replication, and she has, like, the ability to, like, draw them in her own style, but they still look super realistic. And then I really like ball pit nails on, TikTok, and I've also had the pleasure of working with her as well. Um, I have some of her nails too, they're amazing. Her line work is insane, like, she can do the tiniest lines, and
Right.
yeah, so I've been lucky enough to work with all of the nail techs that I really look up to, and it's been crazy because that's just happened within the last year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, cause like, ball pit and Tengoku, like, their detail is just immaculate.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
insane. It's insane that, like, I mean, I consider Annie a friend. I consider Trisha of Fancy Fingers a friend. I mean, I have good a business relationship with Ball Pits. She's like, I mean, we're kind of like that. I wouldn't call us like friends. I don't talk to her that much, but like with some of the issues I've had with business before coming up, she's like reached out to me and like talked to me. So like I've gotten like a view of the so not I don't think most people get, like, a view of, like, the promoter-promotee, like, relationship, and she's kinda helped me, like, learn, like, "Oh, no, like, this is, like, acceptable and industry standard," and, like, taught me that
mhm.
type of stuff, which is, like and, like, knowledge that we carry with me through, like, the remainder of when I have a brand, like, yeah. She just
Mhm.
knows her stuff.
Yeah, right, exactly, most definitely. That's what I like about with Maddox, like, her stuff is just really, really detailed. Same with Viv Chu, like, Viv Chu's the same way, like, she spends
Oh,
hours.
yeah, she's insane. Say that Viv's a freaking printer. She, like, she paints the nail top down too, like a freaking printer does. Like, I don't know how she does it. She's insane.
Yeah, 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 she's absolutely amazing. But I definitely wanna shift gears and talk about your business, so tell us about Bubblegum Claws and how that got started.
Yeah, so Bubblegum Claws got started in a really indirect way. I was having a really hard time getting my footing in Austin, for a lot of different reasons. First off, I've just never been that great in the salon. Like, it's just not my environment. I always feel rushed. I always feel, I mean, like, pedicures throw your, like, body out. They're hard work. Unless you have an owner of a salon who's willing to build an ergonomic station, which is not I've seen them in home studios. I've never seen an ergonomic
Mhm,
station in a salon where like the person's feet are literally here and I'm not bending over whatsoever.
mhm,
So I never really felt comfortable in that. And right after I graduated from nail school, I worked in a town next to my hometown for about 6 months, and I immediately came back to Austin because I just wasn't getting the nail art that I wanted.
right,
And almost immediately, I got approached by one of the owners of what would be Cute Nail Studio. They hired me on to help them design the studio. And when I say that, I don't mean like I was like, "Hey, make this wall this color," things like that. I was helping them, like, make sure stations were ergonomic. I was teaching them about nails and things like that, and it was, a really hard time, because it was something I wanted to do so bad. Like, I knew if I worked for them, I would have blown up, like, overnight. I would have been like, by now, I would have already been a household name. But there was just a lot of, like, unprofessionalism, that I was constantly experiencing, so, I Irish dipped. I just, like, stopped showing up. I was a contracted worker. I wasn't like, "Oh, you're here Monday through Friday." They just had me come whenever, and, I started getting jobs around town, and
mhm,
it was weird because, one of the owners kept showing up at my jobs, and I was just assuming it was, like, a coincidence, because she had told me multiple times she likes scalping nail techs, and then I got a job, as the only nail tech in the same area of town as them. They have 2 locations now, but this is when they only had 1 location in the east side, the hipster, like, rich white part of town, whatever, and,
mhm,
that's all been gentrified, and, so the owner announced that I was gonna be there, and she showed up on my first day of work, and, like, spent the whole entire time talking about me, and I was in the conjoining room. And I didn't even at that point like, I thought it was just, like, a coincidence too, and I, like, told my friend about, like, "I keep seeing this person everywhere," like, then she
Mm,
showed up today, and my friend's like, "Yeah, Lydia, that's straight harassment." And I for now, I clearly know that's harassment, like, I know that's not okay. Um, I
mm-mm,
know that, like, if anyone would be like, "Oh, I got a new job and my manager for my other job kept showing up," they would think that was completely like, that's not something that happens. It's, like, not legal either, so it's, like, really
mhm,
messed up. Um,
mhm,
yeah, so I've been talking about that for a long time on social media, uh within the last few months, other people have come forward. A lot of people have always, like, come forward to me in my DMs telling me things that are way worse than what I went through going on there. But basically, like, I never felt comfortable working in Austin, and I was like, "I have to do something else." I moved to a small town. It's not even that small, like, the whole Austin area is such a growing, like, area that, like, I'm in a small town, but it's still, like, growing like crazy. But I moved here and I was like, "Okay, maybe I'll open my own nail salon." Like, cause. I couldn't even stand out when I walked into Austin because my style being kawaii and their salon, I mean, I wouldn't call it kawaii, but looking kawaii, everyone's just immediately like, "Do you work there? Do you work there?" So I was like, "I have to do something to set myself apart." And I was like, "Well, I'll open the salon." And there was a lot of reasons that didn't work. I just kinda was at a point in my life where I wasn't, like, comfortable bringing other people in with me.
mm,
And so instead I pivoted, like, and there was just, like, a lot of signs that it wasn't gonna work, so I pivoted. Instead of investing the money I had saved up for that, I invested it into a polish line, and, like, let me tell you, when I made my polish line, like, don't get me wrong, there's hard bits to doing it. There's a lot of doors slamming in your face, and there's mean people. Like, manufacturers can be really mean, but, like, when I did
mm,
that, that whole process just kind of fell in my lap. From the design, I designed it all myself, to the packaging, to filling the containers, I filled the containers myself. It all just kind of worked really easily, and that's just kind of how it came about. I'm definitely at the point now where I'm more comfortable with, like, collaborating with other people, but, like, because of the whole cute situation, I was in such a, like, mindset of fear for so long that I really couldn't have. I had to, like, get through that. I had to take time off. I took, like, 6 months to a year off, not even touching nails. I literally just had to, like,
mm,
heal. And, like, now I'm at a point where, like, I'm willing to work with people again. I don't think they're just going to, like, hurt me, and it's just, like, that's something that I find really important from my story, because there's a lot of people that still won't speak up on what's happened to them, because they're just stuck in that mindset of what's gonna happen next. And I get it, because, like, even if I got another job and still in Austin, I'd be like, "When are they gonna show up?" Like, but I think it's really important to know that, like, you don't have to live in fear. When you're still in that point, it's hard to get past that, but, it does. And it's one of those things that's hard to, like, believe in the moment, but it does get better eventually if you work on it. Like, maybe you do need to take some time off to just, like, focus on yourself and stuff like that, but it's been a hard journey. I mean,
mm,
I always say it's like you can't have something this adorable and cute without there being the other side of it, and there is a lot of, like, darkness with my story. There's a lot of bright, happy, colorful nail art, but there's also a lot of, like, struggle I had to go through. And, like, my nail art, the
mm,
quality of art that I'm able to make, I'm not saying you guys need to struggle to be good artistically, but, like, it pushed me to be better. So, yeah.
mhm, mhm. So now with the gel polishes, like, do they give you, like, big containers to fill it up, or, like, what how has that worked?
Yeah, I know. This is, like, a question a lot of people have, and I okay, so I, like, thoroughly believe that if anyone wants to have their own polish line, like, people should go for it, because, like, I'm not a big fan of big brands, because first off, like, waste in the industry, like, not giving employees a livable wage. So I'm always down to talk about how I did it. And yeah, I buy my polish in big gallons. So I'm not even, like, ashamed to talk about my lab. I love my lab. I use McConnell Labs. They're in
Mhm,
Oregon, and they're really cool. They're the same people that develop products for Light Elegance, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, and then I just basically had to be like, okay, I know I want a bottle that seals. So I figured I had to figure out induction sealing and how to do that. I fill them. I haven't found out the best way to actually fill them. I just kind of fill them by hand right now, and, like, individually scoop into each of them. But I mean, I'm sure in the future, I'm, like, always trying to figure out easier ways to do it. But, like, literally, it's just it looks like a lot, but literally it's like you get your tub, you get your like big tub of product, you fill the tub, you seal the tub, you put the stickers on, you have a sellable product. Like
Yeah.
it's a little more complicated than that because you have to find a good manufacturer. I'm also
Mhm.
really against people getting their products from China and from AliExpress, and a lot of the other little brands that are my size are getting their products that way. You don't know what's in them. You don't like you can like the quality of those polishes. You can just smell they're not right. At least I can. I'm super sensitive to that. Um,
Mm.
so I'm always like down, like and encouraging people. If this is your dream, like go for it. It's a great way to get extra income as a nail tech because there's gonna be times when like you have a heavy client flow. There's gonna be times when you have like heavy custom like press-ons, whatever orders, and there's gonna be times when like polish is selling really well. But like I think multiple streams of income is like the best way to go about this type of business because there are slow times. Like we're artists. At the end of the day, we're artists, and artists have slow times.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But I definitely like what you said about the AliExpress because, of course, like how you said before, you don't know what's in those products. You
Yeah.
know, you don't know if those products are safe, because people may have allergies with those certain chemicals that's in the
Yeah.
product.
Well, I mean, I can go visit my lab and I can see how I mean, so I'm not having them fill my pots for me, but if I were, I could see how the employees are being treated. So, like, can you if you're getting your products from China, like, can you go visit your lab and make sure they're, like, having good conditions? Like,
Mhm.
and then the language barrier is just gonna be like, okay, so what is really in my containers? And I mean, like, literally, ingredient should be on every single like, if you guys wanna do this, make sure you follow the, like, regulations that your countries, like, impose. Like, make sure, like, all the warnings are there on your containers. Don't half butt it because, like I'm trying not to cuss. Because, like, um it might not cause you problems currently, but, like, if you start moving numbers and you don't already have that, like, those safety measures in place, like, down the road, that could really negatively affect you. That's something that's, like, a really pet peeve of mine, like, I don't know why people are selling, like, something that can all polishes, all nail products are potential allergens. So, like,
Right.
you treat them like that.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it's very important to put that information out there to know what's in it, so people know like, okay, this is in here, this is in here, this is in here. So like, it gives awareness to, what they stepping into before they touch on the product.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I definitely want to also like ask within your business, do you plan on selling like nail brushes, other products, like, like any plans down the road for that?
Yeah, so, like, when it comes to, like, product development, I'll tell you guys some of the things I'm working on, but I think it's really important to completely have an idea flushed out before you even, tell anyone about it because, like, okay, let's say I'm gonna develop a line of I don't know, baby gel polish, I don't know, whatever, and then I tell someone that don't do that, but I tell someone about it and, like, they go, "Oh, well, you can't do that." Like, that will, like, eventually crush, like, and stop you in your tracks. So, like, when I made my gel polish line, I didn't tell anyone about it until it was ready to launch, which was really hard to do because, like, can you imagine, like, the excitement, of holding all that in? But in saying that, I am working on like my biggest next project is art brushes, nail art brushes. About 6 months ago, I had this idea to add something to the brushes to make them like super kawaii and like it's never been done before. And I know as soon as I launch it too, it's gonna get ripped off, which I'm totally fine with brands ripping me off, but like I have to have a year's worth of launches and marketing campaigns already put together before I even launch the first product. That's the only way you can compete with someone who's gonna knock you off. You have to stay up ahead of the game. So that's something I'm working on. I've gotten a lot of interest in regular polish, so I'm going to release some regular polish. I'm going to expand my art gels to primaries, and gosh, there was something else. Oh, I'm collabing with Tootie Tart. She is a cosmetic supply, like makes like bath bombs and stuff like that to make my cuticle oil for me. I
Mhm.
just don't really want to learn how to do smells myself, and her smells are amazing. So that's another thing I'm working on.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. But I also want to definitely get into in terms of the marketing aspect. So what are some things that you can give in terms of pointers of how someone can really sell their products?
Yeah, okay. Okay. So, like, the game has changed, like, promoters like, don't get me wrong, like, working with, like, promoters is still part of the game. I just wanna talk about some of the mistakes I made. A really big mistake I made, there was this, influencer I worked with for years that I looked up to and I was like, "Dude, her products would look great with my brand." And, like, the problem was is I hadn't watched her anytime recently, and
Mhm,
I hired her, and the quality of what she produced was current to what she's currently producing, but I expected this high quality for, like, the price tag I was paying, I expected this
mhm,
high quality production that she used to do, and, I mean, I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk, like, that's a learning lesson for me. Just don't expect someone to respe look for there are promoters that will respect your brand and will work with you no matter what, but don't expect a big name to respect your brand just by paying them a large amount of money once. Some promoters are not gonna respect you until you've paid them tens of thousands of dollars. And I know
mhm.
that's not something people are gonna wanna talk about, or say, but some people are just in it to collect the paycheck. So you guys gotta be careful with that. Make sure you check out their current, what they're currently doing with their content. On top of that, if you guys wanna be a promoter yourself, people ask me that all the time. I don't do any free promotions. Sometimes I'll give my polish away with no expectations, but I typically only like paying promoters. If you guys wanna be a promoter yourself, like, you guys pretend like you already have the job. Start tagging brands in every single product you use. Like we see that. Like we see you tagging us. We might not interact with you. It might take you 100 times or if you it'll like make other brands be like, "Oh, if hire this person, they'll also tag my products."
Right.
Um I think it's a little bit of a it's weird. It's weird because some of the best promoters I've gotten are people I just, like, give to my PR list and give it for free. It's kinda like you just have to test it out. I mean, especially if you're not using the product yourself, like, for me, I make most of my content. You have to just, play with it, and I mean, like, promotions cost, y'all, like, you're gonna be spending a lot of money on it upfront with the hope that you get that money back, and sometimes you don't. Like, with that one promoter with that massive following, like, I didn't get that money back from that promotion.
Mm,
Actually, the only thing I got from it is people another thing, her audience expected a much lower price point, not in regards to my polishes, but my actual handmade art. One of,
mm,
her followers even said she should be called out for thievery because my nail charms are too expensive. So you need to match your promoter's audience with your audience. If you're selling things at a certain price point and their audience is used to a brand selling it at this lower price point, it's not gonna work well with, like, your brand and stuff like that. You need to find people who are, like, already, like, matching your audience. These are like I'm not a business person, guys. Like, I'm just kinda telling you where I've messed up and where I've learned. Um, but also, like, you have to realize from in regards to marketing and promotions, like, just because they're not paying off now doesn't mean they're not gonna pay off from 5 years to now. Like, I have a good working relationship with some of the best, like, people in the industry, so the next time I need to hire them, I can work with them again, and it builds brand loyalty and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not the best at business.
uh, well, I mean, I think the thing is, I think there are some things you do need to look out for, because there are people, because we live in a critical time now where people can scam you, people can, screw
Yeah,
you out of money, and there's some people that will take advantage of you, they will do it,
yeah,
That's
no, I mean, I feel like I was scammed for sure, and then, I chose to deal with it in a certain way, and then the person sent a hate campaign after me, but
mm,
it got me the traffic that I needed, even though the promotion didn't, and I know I'm not trying to say, like, start drama to get, this is such, like, a weird thing to say, but, like, drama is some of the best promotions you can have. I'm not saying start drama, guys, at all, but, like, if
mhm,
someone's gonna be stepping on you, you have the right to, like, stand up and say, "This isn't right." Like
mhm. Yeah, right, most definitely. Now, what has been your experience in terms of like getting a clientele, just having, your own like clients, you do nails for and stuff like that?
Yeah, like I said, it was really hard for me to get a foothold in Austin because of the market being so overly saturated with I mean, no one does anything like I do, like, in town,
Mhm,
so that's not the issue, it just I was, like, kinda it was like a big fish in a bigger pond type of situation,
mhm,
I kinda gave up on it. I was like, "You know what? I'm probably never gonna get clientele," and all of a sudden, it just came in, like, literally, it just
mhm,
came in. I have some, like, of the most loyal clients that'll just come edge me every 2 weeks, let me deck out their nails. They know my prices. I have a really interesting, I know a story to go along with this one too. I know pricing is something that is a huge hot topic issue. I decided to cut off so my regulars I keep my prices low, my regulars can book whatever, whenever, because
mhm,
they come every 2 weeks, and I'm like, "It's cool." I
mhm,
implemented a rule, if you're coming through one time, I have a $200 minimum, and as soon as I implemented that rule, a really, she's a big rapper in Japan, she's not, as big in the US. I did her nails and she just wanted, dice on her nails, like dots, and I was like,
mhm,
"Well, I have a $200 minimum," and she's like, "Oh, that's totally fine." I decked out her nails, like, I didn't do the dice, but in my head, I was like, "Y'all, if someone is willing to pay me $200 to dot their nails, my prices are not too high." Like, it was just a wake up moment for me, that, like, you can set your prices where you need to set them, and, like, the clients who respect your prices will respect them, and maybe you don't need the clients who won't respect your prices.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. You definitely wanna price what you're worth and understand your value because, nails take time. It takes hours on end to have a set of nails, especially the press-on nails, like how we said with, Ball Pit and, Viv Shoe. They pricing $200, $300 for a press-on nail, so it's like, yo, like, these things take time.
They could be pricing them probably double that, like, that's probably them still underpricing them, like, I made this charm I've been working on this charm to promote my friend's acrylic that's dropping tomorrow, and it took me an hour and a half, and it's one single charm.
Mm.
Done with it.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the thing. Like you do have to price what you're worth. But also I definitely want to get into as well as just with nail art. Do you have creative freedom? Do they like request a design? Like how does that work?
Um, it's I like, some of my clients give me, like, complete creative freedom on some of their sets. Some of their other sets
Mhm,
want a little more, like, direction. Um, when it comes to, like, my art, though, that's why, like, customs are hard, like, not with clients, more so with press-ons and stuff. Customs are hard because, like, I prefer just to, like, spend the time making, like, a custom piece of art than, like, making, because I don't know if that's gonna take me 3 years to sell that. Like, I'd rather spend, like, my time making something I love and then someone eventually scoop it up. But yeah, no,
mhm,
when my clients let me go ham, I go ham. Like, one of my clients is a streamer, and she, like, goes to video game conventions, and, like, I did the, really cool Pokemon, like, nails, like, 3D charms on every nail. Like, those are the clients I dreamed about having for years, and all of a sudden, like, I got them. I actually got her because I made a video on TikTok with my nail art binder, which is just like I have a binder with all like my glitters and stuff, and like her daughter sent it to her, and she's like, "And now you're my forever nail tech." Like, it doesn't even
mhm,
have to be like art videos that get you those clients. Like, my best advice is just to keep putting yourself out there because you usually get clients at least in this digital age of getting clients, you get them in ways you wouldn't expect. You don't just get them
mhm,
for posting like your most extravagant art because for some reason those don't like go as further as just a simple like look at my sticker binder.
mhm.
The silly
Yeah.
stuff goes far.
Yeah, 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 exactly. That's the thing, like social media can be, a slippery slope a little bit because of the algorithm.
Yeah, the algorithm,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's kind of just, it can be kind of weird. But definitely I also want to get into as well. So like, especially with nail art, what is like some of like your favorite things to like create with nail art? Like what's like your nail art style?
Okay, so I'm heavily inspired by like Kawaii nail art, Japanese nail art. in the last few years, Korean nail art has like really popped up in the Kawaii style too, and I've been doing a lot of their elements too. But I am so inspired by, like, if I'm watching, like, a movie or an anime or whatever, and, like, I'm just really connecting with it, like, I'll be like, "Okay, I am putting that on a nail." That's, like, kinda, like, my favorite thing to do is just, like, if I feel an emotional connection to a character or something, because like I was saying in the very, very beginning, I love doing character nail art, that's what I love to do. I love sometimes when I'm making nail art, I feel like I'm more of a miniaturist than I actually am a nail artist because I'm just making tiny miniatures all the time.
Right.
3D, I absolute freaking love. I love making custom 3D charms, but I'm really getting into freehand too. Within the last couple months, I realized I could draw anime characters, and I never knew I could do that either. So, yeah, I started watching Dragon Ball, and like I was like, I have to start drawing this everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Now with nail art, do you charge by the hour? Or do you charge like, like $40 per nail? Like how do you charge in regards to nail
Yeah,
art?
I really should. I should start charging by the hour. So I usually just I just have like a breakdown pricing list. If it's a complicated character, it's like $40. And then
Mhm.
if it's like less complicated of a character, it's like per character, it's like 20. And then if it's like a complicated object, it's like $10, and if it's a simple object, it's like $5. But it's really important. This is just something like I know because grew up in a salon, like my mom's salon. You guys definitely need to raise your prices every single year. I have a lot of people fighting me when I say that, but I'm like, if you guys are getting burnt out and you're not having any money at the end of the month, like your clients basically have a choice to accept the fact that you need to raise your prices, or they're not going to respect that, and should they really be your clients? Like I've never seen my mom, like I never saw her lose a client because she raised her prices by $5. Like it's not a big deal. But it's like I've had so many conversations with people that are like, no, 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 I'm not doing it. I'm like, no, you guys need to. And if you haven't raised your prices for the last 3 years, and you just want to start raising them now, like I'm sorry, like you need a back charge. Like and I know it's an awkward thing. Money talks are always an awkward thing, but it's really important because your skill does increase with every year of doing it. It's one thing that Trisha Fancy Fingers said. I was in one of her live streams. Is like she's been doing nails, I think, for 8 years, like, that's like having a PhD, like, she deserves to get paid more for her time. I have a lot of problems with pricing, and I even I've talked to her so she's, like, my mentor in the field, by the way. She's been my
Mhm.
mentor, for a long time, and, she, uh, I was like, "What happens if your client tells you they don't have a budget?" And she's like, "Really, Lydia? You're asking me that right now?" She's like, "You got your little sketchbook, you get your sketchbook out, you draw up, the whatever you wanna do, you go ham as like, hard as, F, and you show them that." And I'm like, "Well, what if they don't wanna pay for that much?" And she's like, "Okay, well, then you adjust it." But, like, when someone says that this is, like, their budget and, like, there's no cap on it, you go, like, there's no cap on it. And I think that just is also, like, valuing your own worth, knowing what to charge is, like, knowing, like sometimes for me too, like, I will still do a set of nails on someone and I'll be like, "Wow, that was imperfect," and, like, they're still in love with them at the end of the day, and I'm just like, "No, I wanna undercharge because I don't love it enough." Like, it does not matter. Like, you still need to charge that, like, set amount. You don't give them a discount because 'cause you're not happy with it. Like, it's weird. It's a lot of just, knowing your worth, and that's something that probably takes, like I'm still working on and probably takes years to really develop. Some people obviously like are able to do it right at the get-go, but maybe they have other things they have to work on, you know? So
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I'm the same way. That's something I'm still working on myself is pricing and things like that. And I think that's with like with beauty education, with no education, especially going to, doing cosmetology classes. 'Cause I took cosmetology classes in my high school because they offered the cosmetology program in my high school. They had, like they had like other like, career like programs like culinary, then collision repair and stuff like that. But one thing, they didn't go in depth about was pretty much about pricing or
yeah,
financial stuff, for to get prepared for the beauty industry.
one time when I was working in a salon, I was doing this sweater design on my client's nails, and I said, "Okay, it's gonna be this much." And she said, "Okay, I will pay this much for it." And I said, "Hey, receptionist, it's gonna be this much." And she said, "Okay, I'll charge her this much for it." And then she called the manager who didn't even work at that store, worked at another store, and the manager just said, "Don't charge her that much for it," and cut my I was commission based and cut it in half. And the client was even
Mm,
like, "Okay, that's fine." And I'm like, "Okay, 1, you're not a good client because we already discussed this." And I know like, I have clients now when I tell them, like, I don't know, let's say something's $50, they'll still give me $100. Like, no one teaches you in nail school that your manager and your receptionist can change your freaking prices and, like, determine them for you. That was a
mm.
crazy lesson I had to learn. At that point, I was like, "There's no point for me to even continue doing nail art in this spot because you guys aren't gonna even listen to me." I think that was one of the most,
Wow.
like, "What the hell just happened?" moments.
Man, that's crazy. I never knew that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I never knew that your receptionist can change the prices.
Well, I mean, like,
Mm.
do I'm not gonna talk
Crazy.
about receptionist.
Yeah, but that's crazy. But there again, that's something that we don't know, because of course nail
Oh.
school or beauty school don't teach you that stuff.
Well, you don't go to like, one of my clients actually is a educator, like, she's a licensed educator, and, like, she was teaching people how to do nails, and, like, I'm doing her nails, and, like, I'm doing things, and she's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And so I'm like, if educators don't even an educator who's taught people how to do nails doesn't even understand what I'm doing. I have a funny story about that too. Won't,
Mm,
doesn't like, how are they supposed to teach us? One time, when I was getting my license renewed in Illinois, I was getting it renewed literally just to put it on,
mhm,
to turn it off. I was turning it on to
mm,
turn it off, basically. I went
mm.
to get training because they make you do in-person training in Texas, it's all online, and I go to the place and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, here's some of the nail art I do," and the instructor was like, "I can literally not teach you a thing." She's like, you there you go, dude. I can't teach you a single thing."
Good Lord. But it's like, it's just the beauty, education, just in regard, especially with state board. I think it just needs to really be up to date because stuff is always changing and evolving. So if you don't stay up to date of what's going on, it's kind of like, okay, you falling back or falling behind in terms of what's going on.
Like, I get asked all the time to be an educator, and that's the thing, like, so if people ask me how to do something, I'll be like, "Sure, dude, I'll show you." But I don't feel a need to be a straight educator. Like, it's not something I desire to do, and it's probably because I'd be fucking great at it. Sorry, I did not mean to cuss. I cuss a lot just in my normal life. Uh, but, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, yeah, it's then unfortunate of those who do and those who teach don't do. So how can they teach you how to do it when they're just teaching 24/7?
Mhm.
When I was in nail school, my teacher was just on Instagram all the time. I got one demo of how to do gel manicure. One This is like a straight nail tech program too. One demo on how to do acrylic. Every time she would come up to my work, she'd just literally say, "Do better." She would not tell me how to do better, what wasn't wrong. She would just tell me, "Do better, do better, do better." And I was just like, "How?" Like, I remember in my head, like, "How do I do better?" Like, I need at least an inch of freaking guidance.
Right. Like, how do you do better? Like, what am I supposed to do? Do I need to build on the nail more? Like what? you know?
I still don't know. I still don't know. Like, what was I supposed to do?
Yeah, yeah, like, it's just so vague of a statement, like, they don't give you, the help that like, "Yo, if I'm messing up, like, come on, like, I need some help," but I definitely wanna also get into, like, some of the, nail trends. So what has been, like, some of, like, your favorite nail trends that you've seen on Instagram or wherever?
Okay, nail trends. Dude, I'm sorry, I shook my table. I'm so in the Kawaii, like, character universe. I'm trying to think, like, y'all, I mean, just like, the the girls love Sanrio, the guys, everyone loves Sanrio. I'm trying to think of a specific trend though. It's weird. Dragon Ball's always a great dude. You guys, it's just this isn't gonna be anything that's super trending. Dragon Ball is always like mildly trending, and I love when like I do a set and I see like 5 other people do a set. Oh, dude, that's the crazy thing about social media. I One of my friends is Melky Sippy Cup. She's a tattoo artist. And
Mhm.
like I started drawing Melky Sippy Cup on my nails, and then I started noticing like it trickled down and tons of other people doing it. And I'm like, I know, I mean, like, I don't want the credit, but I'm like, "D I'm glad I helped push a trend along." But no, I don't know, because like, I'm in such a niche part of the internet, so I don't really have,
Mhm.
like, those major other trends. Currently, this is gonna be dated if anyone else was watching it. I like those, I think that illusion nail with the French tip with the shading
Mhm.
is pretty cool. I know that's
Yeah.
trending right now. I'm even happy when freaking Hailey Bieber jelly donut nails or whatever trending, because if anyone is getting any inkling of I can do this a little extra detail on my nail before I leave, I'm freaking happy. I do not care. If I can get the most boring client, no offense, y'all, to get a chrome on their nail before they leave, in my book, that's nail art. Like, it doesn't have to be my nail art. Anything towards just a little bit, I'm just like, yeah, that's perfect. As long as it's just not a French or red every time.
Mm. Yeah, right, exactly. There's so many trends that's like recycling, each other and stuff like that. When like one dies down, it comes right on back.
Mhm.
The chrome nails, then we got like the gradient nails, the gradient alternate French tip, that you were talking about. So there's so many trends out there. Like, and plus it's really hard to keep with every nail trend. I think it's not realistic to keep with every single thing that's happening.
I heard someone say that the Hailey Bieber, it was on TikTok, donut nail, glazed nail, whatever, is just your grandma's nails coming back in style.
Right. Right, right. I find that very, very interesting. Now, what is your perspective in regards to like technology, and how it's been like applied with like the nail industry?
Oh gosh, like, when I was when I in 2016, when I was in nail school, I had a moment of dread where I was like, "I finally found what I wanna do," and I was like, "Oh my god, robots are gonna replace us. Like, we're not even gonna be doing nails." And now there's a lot of, like, you can get robotic manicures and stuff like that, and,
Mhm,
I just wanna say, like, how I got out of that pit of despair is I talked to someone about it, and, people are always gonna want human interaction. Um,
mhm.
and that's the part of this industry that you miss out on when you have more technology mixed in.
Right.
So, even for me, so like I'm a streamer for the most part. Like, who hangs out with me and watches all my streams? Nail techs who don't have clients who do press ons. So, like, a lot of them will be doing their press ons while I'm streaming and we'll literally hang out together. Like, there's a like need even for the nail techs to still have the salon socialization even when there's not a salon. So I think that in the question of technology and stuff like that, um, I think that there's always going to be room for people to make good connections through the love of art, the love of nail art. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I could get into social media stuff, but that's my major thing is like we're never gonna be completely replaced by technology, so because
Yeah,
I mean, everyone has, like also on top of that, like, all of her nails look so different, like, my nail shape's different than your nail shape. I mean, it might not be, I can't really see them.
yeah.
But, like, you know, it's hard to program a machine to deal with some of the like, intricacies of I have a client, half of her nails are curved and then half of them are flat. She has 2 different nail types on her hand. Like, how do
That's
you program a
interesting.
computer to I know, I've never seen that before. How do you program a computer to, like, deal with that crazy when I do Opry on her, which I just do sculpted now, but when I did
Mhm.
Opry, I would have to use flat on top and sculpted on the other half.
Mm.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I find very interesting because yeah, that does raise the question like how can an AI handle, different nail shapes? You know what I mean? And of course, like how you said before, it's not gonna replace human interaction or even human creativity. And the thing is, now we having like some self-driving cars. There's like a robot AI that can do like some drawings. Like you give it keywords, it'll draw something. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, like how you said, the nail machine that's out like that can polish your nails. It's like a mini printer or whatever it is. Well, we already have like nail printers, but yeah, it can't replace, human interaction or creativity.
Yeah, I didn't think about the creativity part. That is a really good point.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. Now, also in your perspective, how has the economy impacted nail arts in just in your perspective?
Yeah, so I noticed or when I was reading through your questions before, it was like in regard well, you asked something about press-ons and like I thought that was interesting because everyone's always like, "Oh, my press-on business boomed because of COVID." I had a thriving press-on business. COVID happened, it completely died. Like,
Wow.
I had people paying, like, hundreds and hundreds of dollars for my press-ons, and then the influx of everyone selling them, like, people started making nails similar to mine with the
Mm.
AliExpress charms for half the price, and so, like, I just like, visually similar, obviously not the same, and I lost all that business,
Wow.
yeah, and then regards to just generally, like, I mean, it's an expense. Like, personally, I couldn't afford to, get my nails done regularly. I mean, I do my own nails regularly. My clients that can afford it, are lucky enough to be in a place where they can afford it, and it's something they wanna do to treat themselves, and you have to be grateful that they're doing that. Not everyone can afford my minimum, prices, and I
Mhm.
completely understand that. That's why sometimes I do try to make some of my items, like, cheaper so that, like, anyone could afford them, but it's a thing is, like, you don't need nails to survive, and sometimes,
Right.
like, focusing on surviving is a little more important than trying to get, the dopamine boost of having a fresh set of nails or something. Um,
Right.
and again, this brings us back to just my worth. I still have to charge my worth. Like, I can't compete with people selling $30 press-ons. Like, I back in 2017, I sold $30 press-ons and I would deck them out. I can't do that anymore. I can't 20 hours on the set. I literally can't do it. And plus people would still not buy them because, like, they'd still probably say they're too expensive. Um, a lot of people ask me to do pop-ups, and I go, I only weigh if I wanna do the pop-up if I know if it's gonna be a right amount of exposure because, like, the last pop-up I did, the organizer was like, "Did you make a lot of money?" And I was like, "No, but I didn't expect to make any money. I know where my business is, and I know I came into this knowing I wasn't going to make any money." I
Mhm.
think it's just, you know, being realistic that not everyone's gonna be able to afford it, and it is a luxury. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, yeah, it is a luxury, most definitely. Now, how have you been able to balance, like, everyday life and being a nail artist?
Oh my god, this is something, like, I like thinking about a lot. So, when all those things were happening, like I told you, it took, like, 6 months to a year literally just off. So, like, this is something that's super important to me, like, you can't sit at a desk or at a nail station for a week straight, 8 hours a day, without hurting yourself. I think there has to be a big separation from like whatever choice of exercise you choose to do. You need to
Right.
like work it in. Like I walked, I think like 2 miles this morning before I
Mhm.
did this. Like like I am not into the work hard, grind, hustle, mentality. I'm into the take lots of break naps and work and then also take another nap and then like, I'm not into it. It's not good. It's
Yeah.
not realistic. Like we're not like, dude, like we're not supposed to work our lives away. It's like not how it's
Mhm.
supposed to be. That's why I think having multiple streams of income is so important. So like if you okay, so one of my passive incomes that I have, for example, is like I have a sketchbook that I sell. I have them over there, but not over here. Um and I sell them like I have hard copies that I sell, but then I also have them on Amazon. So like
Mhm.
you can make I could make like 5 different versions of that with minimal effort, put it on Amazon, and then every like 6 months get a check for every copy that's sold or whatever. Like, I don't think that like working harder means you're going to don't get me wrong, like hard work is part of it, but like you have to balance that. You have to for me, I love being outside, I love being in nature, like, I spend so much time outside in nature. I live on a green belt, which if you guys aren't in Austin, it's just like, nature preserve that hasn't been developed. Like, I
Right.
love being around animals, I love, like, the animals that are out in the wild, I love like, I see herrings all the time, blue herrings all the time, I see snakes, I see turtles. It's just, like, really cool, for me to balance such a virtual digital career
Right.
with something that I mean, like, I don't consider that as, like, my career as real as just being out in nature. Personally, it's
Mhm.
where I thrive. I'm a Taurus. I have to keep myself grounded. But, yeah, I don't know. I really okay, another thing is, like, you are not anyone's competition. So, like, let's say, like, you have to take a break for whatever reason, no one's gonna come in and take
Mhm.
your spot. You don't have to be constantly pushing out content to, like, try to keep your spot. Like, that spot is yours and it'll always be there. The only people who are pushing you to do that are people who wanna make money off of you. And, like, there are people that you're gonna meet in your life that only wanna like, are gonna see you as a dollar sign, and then there's
Right.
gonna be people who want you to thrive so that you can stay in their lives and aren't going to ask anything of you from it. And I've been talking about this lately because it's very strange because those people, those 2 types of people who want you to thrive and wanna use you, typically, in my experience, approach you in the same exact way, and you really have to use, like, your own intuition to, like, figure out which one actually wants to use you and which one wants to help you.
Mhm.
It's very strange. It's something, like, that I wish everyone luck with. I don't think that you should I personally do not think you should be giving any of your art to, a salon owner. I think commissions are fine if they're, like, for a service, but the art should be going 100% to the artist. It's something I really freaking believe in, and I think it's, like, such a freaking ripoff, and it makes me so sad when I see people getting insanely low commissions, um, because if people are lucky enough to take the chance on just themselves and putting all like, going off on their own and being self-employed, and I know it's not for everyone, I know everyone doesn't have that opportunity, but if you can work towards that opportunity, like, it is so different, like, being appreciated by your clients and not having to cut your income in half. You also
Mhm.
then have time to focus on your health while you're, focusing on your art. You don't have that time when you're sitting around for 4 hours without a client in a, salon because they won't let you walk off and exercise for those 4 hours. I think it's the issue where those types of workers that, like, technically should be able to leave or whatever, the commission workers, I forgot the name for it. Technically, that means you'd never have to be there, but they still treat you like an hourly employee. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, it's like the form they give you, and then they
Mhm.
treat you like a real employee, but the form and how they pay you is like, I don't know.
You talking about like a clock in, clock out type of thing?
Yeah, so, like, when you're commission based, technically, you don't have to ever be in the building. It's like salons have s flipped the system around where they still treat
Mhm.
you like you're an hourly employee when technically, like, if you're not, with a client, you don't have to it's like some weird tax
Mhm.
form. I don't know, I've heard people talking about it. I'm not,
Mhm.
like I said, that big of a business, like, person, but, um, yeah, I just think really moving your body is so important because, like, I threw my hips out, like, in my first couple of salon jobs to the point where I couldn't even, like, sleep, like, I was in so much pain. I don't have that pain anymore, but, like, also, like, guys, like, get adjustable tables so you can stand up if you want to while you're working and take breaks from sitting, like, you
Mhm.
might not be able to get an electric table, but they do make manual tables that are adjustable, or maybe just try if it's cheaper to get a second table that's already high to switch to. I think that's
Right.
really important too.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. I think it's really going down to like back to what we said, understand your worth and your value, but also too, I like the thing that you said about working smart and not hard, because of course you do want to put in the work, but you don't want to burn yourself out.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, it's not like it's gonna happen over like, success doesn't happen overnight without hard work, but it doesn't mean, okay, if I just burn myself out every single day by doing 12-hour days and just trying and trying, like, sometimes you really just have to pay attention to, like, is this the right spot for me and pivot, like, that's why I have my gel polish line. I Instead of just trying and trying the same thing over and over again, I pivoted to something that worked better for me. And I think
Mhm.
that's something that is really cool that I was able to create, especially because like if you guys would have known like what a dark place I came out of then to create this polish line, you would have been like, how did she even do that? Because I literally created it after taking a sabbatical. Like I sometimes you need a sabbatical to do those things, you know. I'm not saying everybody is also that lucky that they can have that type of experience. I'm very privileged in the fact that I was able to even take a break from it to reorganize and things like that. And I don't know, like if you're stuck being your sole provider in your household, you know, you might not be as lucky. And I still like hope y'all can find a solution through to any issues you're going. But at the end of the day, like try to still, you know, center yourself, refocus, realize that nails aren't everything.
Mhm.
Nails are supposed to be fun. They're not supposed to be that serious. They're not supposed to be that dramatic. There's some health issues, like obviously we want to like be aware of, like, but other than that, like have a good time. Like
Mhm.
why do you want to? Why do you, like? Why would the little kid version of you love the fact you're doing nails? Because you have a colorful hands afterwards, and it feels great. You know, you have to
Right.
feel kind of silly.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. You know, and mental health is very important. And I like how with our generation, we're talking more about mental health and how important that is because that's a big component in terms of living your day to day life. Is maintaining mental health because that's how you maintain your work ethic.
For sure. Yeah. I so a lot of the people who went through this situation with cute and have reached out to me. I'm like, I worked through it with a spiritual advisor. I didn't work through it with the counselor. That's my preference. But I'm always
Mhm.
telling them, if you're still having a hard time, you know, you need to find your way of working through it. And if you need help, ask for help. Like I asked for help. That's how I got through it. Um, and like I'm happy because I know a lot of people have like sought therapy after talking to it. Talking to me about it. So not my it wasn't my doing, you know what I mean? Maybe I was like the
Mhm.
person they probably were already thinking about it. But like
Mhm.
it's just important, you know, physical, mental health, you know, it's important to look at all these things. Like this job is the easiest job to burn out in. Like being a nail tech is not easy. I always tell people do not even try being a nail tech unless you love it because it is the hardest thing I've ever done. I had an interview once where a bottle of dip powder, if you guys check out my videos with my close-ups, you'll see this massive scar on my finger. I had a interview where a bottle of dip powder literally shattered in my hand when I was turning it and cut me from here to here. And it was this super glue stuff and it sealed it open. And so like I didn't have insurance at the time. So like I had to let it heal a little bit and then like peel, this is so gross, but peel out all the super glue afterwards. So now I have like a massive scar. But like this industry is insane. Like it's literally disfigured me, like
Right.
physically, emotionally. Like don't do it unless you love it. It's not like an easy type of money. It's hard on your body. And unless you know your worth, you're not going to be paid enough to make it worth it.
Right.
Even some of my favorite nail techs are like on the bridge of quitting, and it breaks my heart because I'm like, if you guys just like changed a few things, maybe you would feel like staying in and less burnt out. But you can't make anyone listen, you know. You can support them. But seriously, some of the best nail techs you know are also sometimes contemplating, should I just quit? Like, it's not an easy industry. It's not at
Right.
all. We don't get treated with respect. Like, oh, it's hard. It's it's like one of the hardest things I've ever done, but I also love it. So
Mhm.
knowing that being pushed through all these difficult situations, I'm super grateful that I know it's exactly what I want to do and where I want to be. So I'm glad that all these things have happened to me because like I don't see any other job I could be doing for the most part. This job has encouraged me to look at other outputs of my creativity. I am like doing a lot of streaming, which is a little different than just being a nail tech. And then
Mhm.
in the I'm working on starting a production company with my husband and one of my friends, and our first production is a D&D podcast. So um, I'm just going to be using the skills I got from the social media experience I got to open that. And in the future, I'd like to do some animation and like stop motion and use my sculpting into the stop motion and things like that and make productions like that. It's all connected. And I'll never stop doing nails, but like nails is it's given me like such an artistic output, an
Mhm.
ability to for me to appreciate my creativity, which is something I really didn't have growing up, and I freaking love it for that. I would do it all over again. I would do all the terrible things over again just because I'm so happy where I'm at and I'm like super grateful where I'm at. Am I like making the most money? And like, is it that super glamorous? No, but like, I can feed
Mm,
myself with my art. Like, that's literally the dream, being able to support yourself with something you draw. Like,
mhm,
that's the artistic dream.
yeah. But last but not least, where could people find you on social media, and how can people support you and your business?
Yeah, you guys can follow me. My nail tech page is at Bubblegum Claws on Instagram and TikTok, and my shop page is at Bubblegum Claws on TikTok and Instagram. If you guys want to find my links, just go to bubblegumclaws.com. The top three lines in the corner, top left corner, click on it. There is a link section. You can find all my links there. I do have sales every week on Whatnot, and I do discount my nail charms on those sales. So my nail charms
Mhm,
all get posted theirs first, and then if they don't sell, I'll post them for full price on the rest of my websites. But if you guys are looking for some of my art at more of a reasonable price, y'all can scoop them up there. But yeah, that's about
mhm.
it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lydia, for jumping onto the show. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for being so open and honest, and also showing people like, yo, understand your worth and your value. This has been a great conversation. Thank you so much.
thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care and stay beautiful.